Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sprint Planning number 1. I'm gonna share my screen, and we have not talked about this, but I hope this is like kind of simple. This website or technology or whatever you want to call it is actually from the same people that make Jira. I think they bought this website Trello. And I really like it a lot for this kind of thing. You can kind of make like almost like sticky notes, stuff like that. Um, I feel like that as soon as I look at it, I feel like they changed the UI and I'm not familiar with it anymore. Wow. Okay, yeah. So we can make lists. I had a couple of potential ways of doing this in mind. One is the idea of like coming up with user stories, and I thought that they could potentially dictate kind of tasks that we come up with. But I mean, if we want to be more like straightforward, we could just sort of break down our overall sprint 1 idea, which seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is read PDFs in some sort of structured way, so that we can get an output and kind of, I suppose, like assign fields or attributes from like what we read from the PDF to, I don't know, basically like gauge the completion of the user.
Yep, that sounds pretty much right. We need to be able to read important fields of PDF and basically summarize the information, I think, as the MVP or yeah.
Oh, so summarize okay.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is like really break that down into its components,
Mm-hmm.
um, in terms of what that might actually look like in terms of implementation. Like we don't have to get tied down to implementation in terms of like whoever takes these tasks, will have free reign, I guess, to like decide how to attack the problem and like what technologies to use. But um, I don't know. Why don't we just come up with one task first and just see how it works and if it's like specific enough.
Okay. Um, Go ahead, someone else.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
Task one, would this be like a web based? The
No, that's a good question. And I think that'll kind of influence some tasks that we come up with. I think that the sense was that, yeah, that was our initial idea. Like that seemed the most achievable
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
in like a brief period of time.
So would be the first task would be decide on the framework of the project, whether it needs to be an app or a web-based or something like that. Can that be a
Let's
task?
let instead of making that a task, let's decide that right now.
Okay. Um, I'm good with web-based because it's portable and yeah.
Yeah. Uh, for that, we could potentially just deploy it to some simple like hosting service and
Yeah.
get it pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anybody else have any thoughts or any counter?
Yeah, a web-based would be more easy to be used by different platforms, different devices,
Yeah.
different setups. We
Yeah.
we won't have to make different apps for different operating systems and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, if we wanted to turn it into an app, can we just add an app shell and have it directly just load the website? We can also do that, right?
We could do that. We could
Yes.
have, yeah, there are like a number of ways. We could kind of depend on technology that we had already developed and serve that, yeah, to like a mobile front
Okay.
end. Um, okay. I'm gonna put that in, but I would like to break it down a little further. Let's say, um, develop a based. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys, oh, this is probably the name of the list. Whoopsies. Let's call this. And I feel like, as you guys can maybe tell, it's a little vague, right? I feel like there's a lot of, like, if I told you, like, go develop a web-based front end,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a lot of room for interpretation there.
Right.
Another idea I had, if anybody was interested, and we don't have to do it like this, but if anybody wanted to create a mock-up,
Yeah, I'm interested in doing the mock-up, like what it is, what's the website going to be like, or the final product.
yeah, for the website.
Yeah, I will develop.
Okay.
Yeah, my mock website. Yeah.
So I feel like this one, um, kind of, in my mind, comes before the actual development of the front end.
Mm-hmm.
So that will need to get done first, I think, and then, yeah. All right, so we'll talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, and then we can break one. I feel like the mock-up is gonna kind of give us a direction
Yeah.
that once we kind of look at it, we have an idea of like how to break down this one into its composite components.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll just leave that alone for now.
Okay.
Um, in terms of actually like doing these things, like solving these problems,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I mean, again, you know, I can like uh figure out implementation for reading PDFs. And again, I feel like that one is up for interpretation. It's not just like reading the PDFs, it's what we do with the information that we get back, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And also how we sort of programmatically read those PDFs in like a repeatable way. I don't know if we should probably come up with some sort of structure in terms of data for these I-20s and these other documents. Kind of come up with like how to model them basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
There already are many PDF reading models present on the internet, which we can use to edit, which we can edit on our own to, create a more customized one which we would need. So,
um yeah, I've seen the same thing. There's like a Python library.
yeah.
There's like some very simple, I think, library.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So again, I think like the challenge is not necessarily going to be actually reading the PDFs, but like doing so in a smart way.
So I guess like we need to train the data, like we need to first put some data set, like if it gets similar I-20, so it get approved. So
Yeah,
something.
we need to see what the information we need out of the PDFs is,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
what exactly the summarization would look like, what exactly the main points that the model would look at in the PDF would be, kind of
Right.
those kind of things.
Yeah.
So actionable item would be use a sample PD. We can go through a sample PDF I-20 form and decide on what fields we want to summarize with the PDF reader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Capture relevant fields.
For our sample I-20.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of makes sense. Um, okay. Uh,
Mhm.
do I put anything in there? Like basically what I'm thinking of is like, I don't know if we're programming like this, but if we were using like an object oriented language, like how would we come up with a class based around the PDF, you know? Like how would we structure like a data structure
Mm,
that represents all the relevant information?
mm. Well, what comes top in my mind would be they're like cases. So we can call this a class, a client class or something maybe. And in there would be structures would be their CVIS number, student ID number, first name, last name, program start date, program ending date. Is it in educational level? And then what their current status is on OPT, CPT,
Yeah,
post OPT. Like all those can be encapsulated into a client class.
right.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
that's kind of what I'm thinking or what I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, basically trying to figure out how to make this more specific. Capture slash model. All right, fine. Basically,
Yeah. And then
I want to make sure I want to reduce the room for interpretation. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. All right, I feel like you guys get it. I feel like we're on the same page with that one.
mhm.
I feel like the only other thing is, oh no, there's two things, right? We probably have to gauge um level of completion, right? Or do we also want to like flag fields that are like incorrect, like that the person has like hasn't filled out yet, or
Probably to
I
just
don't think there's anything that we fill out in a in an I-20,
oh
but
yeah,
there could be some things that like some details or some information that could give out a flag. Like for example, the maybe the end date of the program has passed on, so maybe that could be a flag. Things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
so okay, I could imagine that being actually like quite difficult. Um,
I don't think that would be difficult because that would be just like a single if-else statement. Like if
okay,
that thing is more than that, then it'll give us an error or a flag or whatever.
Right. And to
yeah,
elaborate on what Novrish just mentioned, I think we also need to have a separate policy file because if the current policy is the grace period is 60 days, you have to find a job, then that if statement would be if compares if it's within 60 days or not and whether this
Yeah.
person is in compliance.
Hmm.
But if we go change that policy file to 35 days or 90 days, then we don't have to touch anything else. So basically, it will be independent, right? So
Yeah.
we'll have to have a policy, either policy input or policy file that would that the program or the AI will read.
okay,
Yeah. So that would be another class. I think maybe the advisor class or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
we don't know. Yeah, again, like we don't necessarily have to have like classes right now.
Mm.
Um, I guess it depends on what programming language we use, but yeah, yeah. As long as we're like structuring our data in some way.
Is JavaScript class based?
No, but it does have an implementation for classes, although people think it's not really a good idea to use it.
Okay.
Um, All right, so this kind of thing for now in this stage of the project is gonna, I guess, be like hard coded
Mhm.
in terms of like the logic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose that's, sprint 2, sprint 3, we could make
Yep.
that fancy.
Yeah, I think also it would be helpful we come up with the end goal of sprint 0, like what we,
Yeah.
oh well, no, sprint 1, like what the in terms of the MVP, what do we want to achieve?
Yeah. End goal. Well, I think this kind of tells a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a front end, there's PDFs getting ready. Oh, we also need we need a way to upload PDFs.
Yeah.
Implementation. All right. Upload PDFs. PDFs get read. Whatever gets read from the PDF gets structured.
Mm-hmm.
And then logic is dropped in on that data in order to figure out how complete it is,
Mm-hmm.
or if there are any errors. If so, we need to output that information. And I think that's mostly it, right?
Yeah.
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 What would we want an output to look like?
I think uh for sprint 0, what I have in mind is that we fire up the application, and then here's a place we can drop in an I-20, and then maybe we can click process. And on the other side, we'll just list name, service ID, program type, and this key informations on the other side of a text box. And then that will be it.
Yeah, like the key information's in a tabular format, and then at the bottom there could be like a summary which states if there are any flags or not, if there's anything to be extra to be noticed out of it, if there's any information that is of more importance in there.
Mhm.
That's a good idea. I might put that idea
In the mock-up.
rather than the mock-up.
Yeah.
Oops.
And all that within a month, you think we can pull it off?
Uh, the mock-up part, yeah, we can pull it off for the sprint 1.
I think, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think this is reasonable so far.
Categories.
Yeah, I mean, we have 7. Did I count that right? Tasks. In a way, that doesn't seem like that many, but in another way, I feel like you guys see like the potential for quite a bit of substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could also break this down further if we need. Well, although we might just need to wait until people like try these things and come across things.
Yeah. When we meet in the next planning or yeah. And then maybe
Do we have any other things that we care about, like tests or I don't know if we were to like refactor code, like how we would put that in the backlog. I don't really know.
I don't really understand what you meant, just because I've never had real world experience on, the thing. But I'll follow your lead, I guess, whenever that is.
Oh yeah, anybody else, new varsity, were you did you say you've like freelanced?
No, no, I haven't. Zero experience.
Okay. Anybody have any experience?
In freelance?
Or anything at all, like
Yeah, I do.
okay, just wondering. Uh, the place that I was at did not do very much testing. Um, some people think testing is really important. Some people think it's really annoying and inconvenient. Um, I don't really have an opinion, I guess. When I say testing, I mean like um sort of potentially like automated testing uh in a way that's like repeatable and is part of our kind of like development pipeline. It can kind of give us like peace of mind that like for code to go through it needs to like pass tests
Mm,
so that we're not putting out like crappy buggy code that we like regret, especially in terms of like a demo. Actually, I'm gonna put in some of this stuff. Okay, and I'll do my best to like fill you guys in if you don't know about any of these things or understand them. Um,
appreciate that.
I would like to set up environments, development, maybe a demo environment.
Mm-hmm.
Rest.
So do you guys know what I'm talking about there?
No.
Okay. Um, I've had this happen where
Mm-hmm.
we've had like working versions of code and we were gonna like demo it to clients and then we start demoing and it's a complete shit show because the code doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that happening with us too, like
Right.
presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we can have different code bases in our GitHub. And we could have one for development, which is kind of like our sandbox to like mess around with and break as you guys like feel free. You could have
Mhm.
a local one. We could have one where we're all on the same page, and then we could have like a demo code base where it doesn't necessarily have the most up-to-date code. Like
Mm.
maybe it doesn't have all the stuff that we did, but we know that it works. Like we've
Right.
tested it, like it's reliable. And
Yep.
especially like if you break the development environment, hopefully it's not going to break the demo environment, so that's safe.
Okay. That sounds good.
I can handle that stuff, but yeah. Um oh, do we have any other deliverables for this sprint? Like, I guess we have to like do the wiki page. Um
Oh, for sprint 0, you mean? Or 1?
one.
Sprint 1, I believe we need to make a presentation. We need to have a minimum uh so
Yeah.
presentation, and then we need to have a demo minimum version of
MVP, yeah.
MVP. We need to have that. And
Mm-hmm.
then we also need to update our wiki page, and we also need to record a presentation, record Spring 2 planning, and record a retrospective. That would be our deliverables. Presentation. Yeah.
What was the other one you said? You said retrospective, sprint 2 planning.
Record presentation. And then MVP, which is
All right.
essentially the most important part of Spring 1.
So the MVP hopefully will come out of everything.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Maybe I'll just put like double check like demo version of code or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not upset with this in terms of like, yeah, I was going for like a level of specificity so that we would all be on the same page and you guys don't have to like guess what each other is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
I feel like maybe we've done that. Does anybody have any additional thoughts or anything they'd like to like touch up or maybe like challenge or like poke at?
Uh, what about the chatbot we discussed about?
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe that could be a Sprint 2 thing.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that could be a challenge, but yeah, I'm eager to
Yeah.
back it. Yeah, I feel like if we get this,
Mm-hmm.
we work on a chat bot, then it'll set us up nicely to like just plug that into what we already have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
I have a thought. In terms of the developing and come up with the first MVP, um, how are we going to like be working on it together and keep communication? Is it like 3 meetings we're meeting? Is it enough? Or it's just I have a crazy thought. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can we find like afternoon or something? We can all get together in one physical place, and then would that be more effective to get everything jump started?
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind meeting frequently. Another thing is that all right, who here has used Git or GitHub before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Everyone.
used it a long time
Everyone's
ago.
probably used, yeah.
GitHub has been used it, yeah.
Miles?
Oh, sorry, I didn't. I used it a long time ago. I don't remember. It's kind of like version control or something like that. That's all.
Hmm.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll like facilitate us being able to collaborate.
Okay.
We're all like checking in code.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's a good idea potentially. Like I'm down to like work with other people.
Because I think once we get it started, it will be easier to keep track on GitHub and all that stuff. But in terms of if we have to set up a server sort of environment and mock-up and all that stuff, to I just feel like it's a lot of coordination to get something started.
Oh, I have one more that you made me think of. Deploy website.
Hmm.
The
Mhm.
mock website also, are we going to deploy or just for the main part?
What do you mean?
Like, do you want the mock-up front-end
Oh,
web page to be deployed?
no,
For
I mean, so however you decide to do it, I don't know. It's just for us.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Okay.
can do it as a local host or
Mhm.
something like that. We can
Yeah.
do that, and then we can put it on a server eventually, or however you all want it to do. Yeah, I just feel like this is a lot of tasks to synchronize with, but maybe that's the beauty of all these tools and all that.
You know,
Hmm.
I'm kind of glad you said that. I
Mhm.
would rather you say that than be like, oh, there's only like a few things to do. Like, and
Yeah,
then you start doing it and then you're like, oh.
yeah, no, this is
Um, so that's good. I feel like that means this is working.
Mhm.
And I think you have a point, that this is potentially a lot of work, but we do have 5 people.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I feel like this,
Mhm.
this, this, and this. So 5 of them are kind of like the big meaty ones to me.
Mhm.
We do have 5 people.
Do you want to give numbers to what's the what is the prioritization method? Like,
Yeah,
we prioritize that afterwards. We will keep on tracking next things.
I'm thinking basically no, okay, I'll put this in. Um, the mock-up needs to be done.
Yeah. So
This is high priority.
Yeah, give number one. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
number.
actually just priorities are we doing like 1, 2, 3 or?
Yeah, it's better to keep it like that so we can know which task everyone's doing.
Hmm.
Well, this is high priority, I think. Um. I'm also gonna make a Jira thing for us, and this will capture some of the priority information also.
Wonderful.
Um. Thinking like this is high priority. Call this like medium. Maybe right.
Gauge the level of completion. Mm-hmm.
I feel like the implementation, like the way that it comes out. Although I maybe this one is slightly higher priority than that. You guys can also push back on this if you want.
Mhm.
Okay.
You can give this maybe like a 2 and the previous one like a 3 if you're giving out of 5. So that could be range.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, actually that makes sense. This is super important, I feel like.
Hmm.
Implementing for upload, yes.
I think this is important, but well, I'll take this one and I'll just call it medium.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and
The normal priorities,
yeah,
which
Yeah, the rest, once we have the MVP, the rest could be done very easily within hours. So
Yeah.
so
yeah,
I won't touch these. We have the understanding that these come last.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one I'll call low priority.
okay.
This is
Yeah.
always important. Don't show people crappy code.
Yeah.
All right. I'm pretty happy with this. This is high priority. Whoops. All right. Does anybody else have anything else?
Um, nope, this is pretty good. Oh, I do have a quick question. Should we assign who's doing what at this point, or you guys want to do it on Wednesday?
Yeah, I can wait until the sprint starts if you guys.
Hmm.
Okay.
I would like to start with the mock-up, if
Okay.
not a problem. Like, I
Yeah.
want to do it by Saturday. I'm thinking of giving a mock-up ready for.
Whoa.
I'm free right now. That's all.
Okay.
It's
That
more.
is yours.
Okay.
I can do the I-21 because that's kind of like what I work with every day, and I can work with my department and get some feedback
Mm-hmm.
on what is important. And
Cool.
yeah.
And we need to collect the frequently asked questions.
Collect what? Sorry.
Collect frequently asked questions regarding the I-20 setup, and what are the questions students ask for the uh, school coordinators, like
Yep. Yeah.
You want
when
to save that one for sprint 2?
Bring
yeah,
two.
yeah,
Yes.
but we have to keep it in mind, like yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really good. Good job, Matt.
Thanks. Would you believe that like I'm terrible with organization?
You seem to be super organized to me, so
I'm probably the least organized person you've ever met.
Yeah, this is way more organized than we could have been.
yeah.
Hmm.
I like this stuff when it comes to like programming and coding, because yeah, I feel like I've just encountered so many problems that can be solved by doing stuff like this.
Mhm.
So that's why I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
thanks for participating, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Should I stop the recording?
Yeah, you can stop.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Yep. Oh, and I'll also send this to all you guys. Feel free to make any
Sure.
or whatever.
Perfect.